Welcome back to Candy's Art World. I'm Candy, and today I'm going to paint a frog in watercolor paints. I start out like I usually do, sketching in with a very light pencil. The purpose of drawing really lightly is to make those lines go away. Um, that's a key ingredient on trying to paint realism. Whether you achieve realism or not, yeah, I don't always, but um, you get closer by not seeing the outlines. Also, if you see that you made a mistake in your drawing and it's light, it's easier to erase. Especially on watercolor paper, you don't really want to dent the paper when you're drawing. And now I'm doing a wet on wet technique where you wet the paper and then you use fairly wet paint. That means a lot of water mixed in with your watercolor. And then you let your paper dry before you go in to do any of the little details on the other parts or whatever, or your paint is going to bleed out onto your other areas. And some pieces you might want that, and some pieces you don't want that. So depending on what you're painting, and this time I didn't want the flower color to bleed out into the water. And then for the lily pads, I am doing a wet on dry, where the paper's dry, but the paint is a little wet. I was trying to vary the shades of green. I put washes of color onto the frog and then would pick it back up with the paper towel, trying to get some texture. And you see there how when I was filling in the eye color, it bled out because the paper around it was wet. So if you're going to do little details like that, you probably want to wait until it dries before you try to add that detail. And be sure to have paper towels around so that way you can lift out anything that you might not have expected to happen. I decided to use a little bit of that gouache to lighten up some areas because I seem to have almost all mid-tones, a little bit of dark tones. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Have a great day.